We have in our studio right now, joining us is Professor Charles Bond. He's an expert on the psychology of terrorism at John Jay College. Thank you so much for joining us, Professor. What is going on in the minds of these people who have done what they did today?
Well, they're engaged in a worldwide struggle for ascendancy over people they regard as the infidels.
And so this is why they targeted something, you think, like the World Trade Center, the symbol.
Oh, the World Trade Center is a symbol of American dominance over the world economy and technology.
You said yourself that you've studied this. Partly your job is to look into the possible, even worst case scenarios in the terrorism field. And you told me just a few moments ago that you never imagine something like this.
I don't think anybody ever predicted anything as devastating as this. The expenditure, the funding and planning that went into this is almost on par with the devastation that it caused.
So what is your theory then? Do you have one at this point as to how this was all put together?
Oh, absolutely. You have to ask, for example, how they trained suicide bombers who would be pilots.
Exactly, because
that's one of the questions
we've covered earlier today. Clearly, the pilots, we can assume, would not have flown their planes into an office tower. No, but the pilots obviously knew what they were doing. The hijackers knew what they were doing.
Exactly, exactly. You have to. I mean, the likeliest scenario was something along these lines: that they took over the planes while they were still on the ground, because they also have had to fill them with explosives. Because the sequence was that you have the crash into the target, and then a few minutes later, a massive explosion.
We saw the press conference a few moments ago from what I'm guessing is a Taliban official in Afghanistan, where it's believed strongly that Osama bin Laden is being harbored. If you were the lead investigator on this case, is that where you would begin your efforts?
I don't believe so. I believe that this is the concerted group of terrorists who've been conducting terror operations over the last maybe 5 years.
Give us some.
Rejoicing in the streets, chanting, singing, like this is some type of celebration.
Well, Palestinians assume that the United States is a big supporter of Israel.
Right.
So we are one of their enemies in their minds.
Right, yeah, most definitely, and would be a definite target.
We're going to show you some videotape now that I think if you have youngsters around, you might want to pay special attention to it, because the portrayal of the violence is extremely graphic. So take a look. That's the point where the camera went down, and
you got to remember, our cameraman was right in the thick of it as well.
He was indeed, and we should tell you that there were some portions of that that contained some violence that we thought we should not show on television.
As you could tell, the smoke just like enveloped that whole area. There was almost nowhere to run.
The cameraman bravely stood there, taking pictures of the people running past him, and then of course panning up and seeing the smoke billowing. And then came time where the smoke reached them. And see, here it comes now.
Look at that. That's just unbelievable.
It almost, you know, if you were watching this in a movie theater, you would think this was totally unreal.
This is some horror film or some disaster film that, unfortunately for us, is not a film. It's the real thing.
But this is the point, I think, where it gets really scary, because then the smoke just starts to totally envelop them, and then they're running in the darkness there.
Yeah.
shortly here. They have no idea where they're running. They could be running into cars, into buildings, into one another. They can't see where they're going. And of course, again,
some of them couldn't outrun it.
Well, apparently the smoke was coming at them from several directions. You saw it billowing around the corner and then came out from the next block,
Right.
sort of behind the cameraman's position.
And you know, Jim, you talked about children earlier. I mean, really, how do you explain this to your kids?
This is part 2. This is the aftermath.
it looks like a war zone. It looks like a war zone. And it's got to be difficult for these people to breathe.
The policeman is on the floor.
Stay where you are, man. Where you are. Chopper 5 on 3. Stay where you are. Chopper 5. Oh my God. Get through to the truck. Through to the station.
Some understanding of what Dick Oliver was talking about earlier when he said it looked like a snowstorm with five or so inches of soot and debris on the ground, and you saw the people in that picture there. One police officer had been lying on his face when the cloud passed him by, then got up, and you see the front of his uniform still clean.
Right. It's actually absolutely incredible.
We have on the phone right now Senator Schumer. Senator, where are you right now?
I am in Washington, just praying for everybody's life right now.
What's the reaction in Washington? What are you hearing from your people?
Well, I just spoke to the president. He called me from Louisiana. He'll be going around the country from place to place. And he wanted me to convey to the people of our city and our state that he is committed to first doing everything we can to just help New York as we go through these awful and difficult times. And that second, once that occurs, we are going to do everything we can.
Senator, I'm sorry I have to interrupt you because the president is speaking to us now.
Okay. Okay.
Apparently that was a little bit of a tape problem they had there. Presumably the president is at Louisiana at the Air Force Base where we heard he was going to earlier. I'm sorry about that, Senator.
Officers who were inside. Taped remark from the president.
Oh, here's the president.
Freedom itself was attacked this morning by a faceless coward.
We see what's happening here. This is a video.
That's a problem with the videotape, obviously. The president got as far as to say freedom itself was attacked by a faceless coward, and the problems with the tape made itself felt. Now, that is not a problem with the president. There's nothing wrong with where he is. That's simply a technical problem with the tape that is being fed in to our facility here in New York. So we're going to give it one more try now. Let's see if it works.
By a faceless coward, and freedom will be defended. I want to reassure the American people that the full resources of the federal government are working to assist local authorities to save lives and to help the victims of these attacks. Make no mistake, the United States will hunt down and punish those responsible for these cowardly acts. I've been in regular contact with the Vice President, Secretary of Defense, the National Security Team, and my cabinet. We have taken all appropriate security precautions to protect the American people. Our military at home and around the world is on high alert status, and we have taken the necessary security precautions to continue the functions of your government. We have been in touch with the leaders of Congress and with world leaders to assure them that we will do whatever is necessary to protect America and Americans.